For summer 2018, Too Faced has launched a 53-piece collection, and it's all based across scents of fruit. Pineapples, bananas, apples, cherries. I know I'm missing probably one. For a solid month, I keep doing the IHOP jingle. I go Rooty Tooty, Fresh and Fruity, Too Faced Tutti Fruitti, Rooty Tooty, Fresh and Fruity. The Face of collection is with Kandee Johnson, and I actually thought it was another Kandee Johnson collection because she already had her bake theme type collection with them, but it's not. She's just the face of it. I wouldn't have picked a better model than Kandee Johnson. She's always smiling and happy, and she's got this big grin in the posters, and it's colorful and it screams Kandee, put it that way. Even though there are 53 products in the Tutti Frutti collection, I'm just going to show you the items that I was actually interested in and that I actually swatched, just so they can get an idea of it. Starting off with the Fruit Cocktail blushes. Those are split pans, and they're just cute. I mean, the whole entire collection, the packaging and the scents, it's just adorable. On one side of the blush, you have a color that is more of, it almost kind of looks like a highlighter. It has more of like a shimmery type feel to it and appearance. And the other side of the compact, I would say, is the actual blush. It has more of like a satin appearance to it. So depending on what color you're looking at, more of the violet, the pink, or the orange, then you can just apply it like that. My blush preferences, I do prefer them to be more matte. I do prefer them not to be so glowy. I like to control my glowness. So that way, with a matte, at least I can kind of add what I want to it depending on, you know, the circumstances. The two sparkling drops, the highlighter drops, I knew I was going to look at those. Those looked beautiful and glittery. I just wanted to be just staring at them. There's Pink Colada and then the strawberry color. Pink Colada, you got to shake it up. Pink Colada, when I put that on, I was like, are you kidding me? The glitter, everything is so, it looks like it's just like encompassed in this little bubble is what it looks like, and it's just not all over the place. It's like they just stay together and go where they need to go. Pink Grapefruit was a different story. It just was a lot of water, of course. The shimmer was kind of going, you know, all over the place, and it sheared out to really much of just like a wet look on my skin. But Pina Colada was the one that was, I think, much more of that intense shine, that glitter. I mean, you can wear it on your body, of course you can wear it as highlighter. Beautiful. Next are the two highlighter sticks. They're frosted highlighter sticks. I believe that's what they're called. Now, I wasn't necessarily interested in them, but I wanted to swatch them because I do like cream formula highlighter sticks as well. Now, one is more of a pink tone shade, and then the other one is more of like a deeper pink. The swatch for Pink Lemonade is very, very patchy. I was trying to blend it out, and this is something where, again, like this, the glitter and the particles were kind of dispersing here and there. So it just would look patchy on the skin. That's just from the first initial glance. And then the darker color, the strawberry shade, that is the one I feel has much more of like an opaque appearance. That one would be able to blend out and, you know, just have that little glimmer of the shimmer kind of poking through. I feel that that one would be probably best suited. Like, let's say if that was something I wanted to pick out. So here's another item like the highlighter drops. Okay, one kind of seems like it's working, performing the way I would want it to. Then the other one looks like it's kind of, it's a little bit more tweaking. But again, it was just something I wanted to look at. Wasn't necessarily like initially drawn to it. Next is the brightening powder. Now this one is called It's Bananas. And I wanted to test this one out against the one from the Kandee Johnson collection. Their I Want Candy banana pudding powder. Did bring my compact with me because I wanted to see them up close together. Kandee Johnson's banana pudding, so from the prior Collection. That one is more of a warmer tone yellow. That one would definitely be best suited for people with warmer undertones. The brightening powder in the Tutti Frutti Collection is much more of like a neutral base, much more of a lifted, lighter color. If you have very light skin, pale skin, that one would be best suited for you. Darker skin tones like medium tan, going down into the darker tan series, that's something, you know, I would definitely say swatch it in the store if you're able to, because it is more of a neutral based yellow. Might look a little bit lighter and definitely ashier on your appearance. Next is the Pineapple Paradise Strobing Bronzer. Now this is also a split pan duo. So you have one side that is going to be your highlighter shade, so your strobing powder. And then the other side is a bronzer. Now there's only one compact and one shade. So that is going to indicate to me that this is going to pretty much cover, I would say, more of the medium skin tones, the light skin tones, because those are going to be probably the most amount of people that are going to come to the brand for that particular product. So it's not going to really branch out and be inclusive for various skin tones. Last is the Do You Fresh Glow Long Wearing Foundation. Now the foundation comes in 20 shades, and what I did inside of Ulta is I swatched all of the deeper shades, because I'm trying to think, would I fall into the same color or around in the same color family as, let's say, the Born This Way foundation. First reaction from the swatches inside of the store is they look light, like going from the lighter shades of the darker series, they all kind of looked the same to me. A little bit more lighter in appearance, but it was starting to be a little bit difficult to see. Then it would just go jump down to darker in shades, like much richer and deeper. So it was a little bit difficult to say, okay, where would I fall under? This is a foundation, color-wise, I feel you have to swatch in person if you can. If you have to order online, try to watch as many reviews as you possibly can to hopefully get your swatch. I swatched a few of the darker series, like thinking I might be the toffee or the mahogany on my skin here. Went up to the front where the natural sunlight's coming in, and they're all like darker on me. Chestnut, mahogany, toffee. I did leave maple on my skin for quite some time, and this is the one that just disappeared into my skin. And this is the shade that I have on and what I have been using and testing. The smell has that, well, like fresh sense of, it smells like a bowl of fruit, like a fresh, ripe bowl of fruit. I can't pinpoint the actual fruit, but it just smells so good. It's a scent that does not linger on the skin, but I can smell it. It's not alarming to me, but it's like, With all my foundations for day one, I will not wear a primer. I want to see how it's going to react to my skin oils. You know, let's go ahead and test that out. Day one's initial reaction, first applying it onto my skin, is it feels wet. It spreads well onto the skin, and I'm building it up in certain areas that I want, because I just put on my first initial, light layer, and then I'll start to build it up, because this is being marketed as a full coverage foundation, which when I think of a dewy foundation, a radiant foundation, I don't think of, I do not think of full coverage, because that's kind of like an oxymoron, so to speak. Usually that long-lasting full coverage will be with like a matte foundation or a thicker in texture. But this texture reminds me almost like banana pudding. That's what it reminds me of. And it just spreads onto the skin, and I don't feel anything. It's very lightweight on my skin. Don't feel anything at all. I feel the wetness, but as far as the actual texture, I don't feel anything. Now, building up in certain areas, trying to see, is this something that's going to be full coverage? That I feel is incorrect. It's more of a medium coverage is what I can see, because I still have some of my hyperpigmentation peeking through. So I can either use my corrector first and then go in, or I'll just spot conceal with my concealer, and then that helps cover it up. But the foundation on its own, after my building up, it doesn't. I was also using various tools with this foundation. Not only was I using my fingers, which works well to spread it out, I was using a sponge, I was using a stippling brush. I used that, I believe, on day one. You can use a foundation, a flat brush if you like. With the sponge, I noticed that the coverage is not so different versus when I'm using a brush. It's not as if the sponge is sharing it out to the fact where it's now like just a very light, like a tinted moisturizer. I didn't get that impression at all. Like for today, I used the Beauty Blender to blend it out, and it still could build up. It built up in certain areas to medium coverage, but I still had to go in and spot conceal. Also tested this in the gym because I had a workout, and this check-in is going to look very sweaty probably, but lo and behold, it did last through a workout. I mean, it's not like a strenuous workout in my standards, but it's enough where, you know, you're going to get a nice little sweat going on. So when I'm dabbing in my areas like my forehead and T-zone, just very lightly, I didn't want to completely wipe it off. It wasn't as if it was moving or migrating on my skin. So, I mean, I was pleased with that. Of course, after a workout, a touch-up would be required, but I just wanted you to see how it looked on my skin after a full workout. On 2 occasions, I used the Benefit Professional Primer in this region here where my pores are, and then I used that foundation. There was no peeling up, there was no bunching, no cakiness. So those type of mattifying type pore primers works fine with this foundation texture. But the foundation works really good with just the overall RX primer. I'm trying to use up a lot of my samples from the Too Faced because I have about a couple of those. And I do like using that primer with this foundation. I just noticed I'm kind of naturally gravitating towards it. Today's temperature was about 85, 89 degrees, and it held up all day. This is how it looked. Now, I didn't powder it all over my face. I just powdered in the T-zone only, and it's held up. I did use my setting spray and my various prep products, but it pretty much, you know, it's held up. So I'm very pleased with that. Of course, the conditions will vary depending on where you are. Humidity, extreme heat, rain, wind, and so forth. But if you're someone that likes radiant, dewy foundations, but also your skin type is going to need to come into play here. I have normal skin. If it's going to lean towards anything, it leans towards dry. So now us dry, very dry, normal skin types can just be like, hallelujah. We have something a little bit dewy. Thank you for thinking of us. But if you have combo skin that is leaning towards the oilier skin type, you have very oily skin type, you might put this on and be like, it's a little bit too much. This already looks like how I normally look without foundation. You're going to see a lot more of that shine. I am almost done with my sample, so I quickly used it up, but I don't need to purchase a full size because my girlfriend who actually gets Too Faced's PR, she's going to give me my shade because she doesn't need the dark one. There were other products in the collection like eyeshadow palettes, I believe glitter eyeshadow, no, pots or sticks, I forgot. Something's glitter and something's for the eyes. I remember that. And then I believe there's lip glosses. I don't believe that there were lipsticks. I don't. Have you picked up anything from the, I'm just gonna say it, Rudy Tutti Fresh and Fruity Too Faced Tutti Fruitti Collection? Let me know. I would love to know, especially the foundation, and if you have a totally different skin type. Let us all know in the comments what your experience has been, because it's good to kind of see from different perspectives how the foundation is doing for you. And also, were you able to find your perfect shade? Thank you very much for stopping by and watching, everyone. As always, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day or evening. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye. I want pancakes. Rudy Tutti Fresh and Fruity.